Guys, how are you today? So in this video, I just told you about some things about Chicago. So yes, okay. So guys, so before we start, I just want to tell you that that I want you to subscribe to my channel and just leave a comment here below, and just to start. Yes, the first thing that I want to tell you about Chicago, it's like the amount of nature that we can see in the suburbs, because I just want to explain something about it, because most people think that Chicago has any nature, and if you think that, so you were mistaken. Those people that were having those thoughts, they were mistaken, because I'm really surprised about them. Like I'm just talking about the amount of nature that has Chicago. Like there's a lot of nature, and also like like for example, like in Chicago suburbs, so you can find like a lot of green areas, a lot of trees, a lot of sod, and then a lot of quietness, as well. Like there's much less people walking outside. Yeah, so there's a lot of people living right there, but there's much less people walking outside, because again, so most people think that everything, yes, that we see in Chicago is just skyscrapers and just like houses that are really really close from each other, which is that, that's not so true. Like, that's not true. Yes, in Chicago you can see like a lot of skyscrapers, but also in Chicago you can find like a lot of suburbs, a lot of, like rural areas, for example. Like, okay, so another thing about Chicago is the safety. And also, like, Chicago in general is it's a really safe city. I know there are some exceptions, but in general it's a really safe city. So yeah, because if you think that Chicago is, like we're having like the highest crimes, so first, as you know, you were quite mistaken, because Chicago in general is really safe. I know there's some exceptions, but I'm just talking about overall, like Chicago, for example. Chicago suburbs are really safe. And then, another thing that I want to tell you about Chicago, it's like the amount of people. So and also like it depends of the area. So like it depends of where you are in Chicago. For example, if you're in the downtown city, of course you'll see a lot of people walking around. But if you are like in the Chicago suburbs, like yes, like as I said before, so you'll find much less people, and then just, like, will be really quieter. And then, and also talking about another thing about Chicago, it's the people. First, so in general, like Chicago are, like, as you know, Chicago are located, like in the north of the United States, in the north midwest of the United States. And then also Chicago, it's like, so when it comes to people, as I say, like, so like we tend to be really really reserved, really polite, really quieter, really quiet. And then also, like, we tend to be like, you know really nice, but at the same time we tend to be like isolate in terms of, like in terms of social life. For example, we are not so sociable. Like Chicago, we tend to be really reserved, because normally, so people from the north, so like tend to be more reserved, which is our case. But like, that's how it is, like in general. And also another point that I want to tell you about Chicago is the food. Chicago has some of the best foods in the country. Like, for example, Giordano's Pizza, that's the best. And also, like, there's a lot of restaurants that you can find in Chicago, like especially in Chicago suburbs. And yeah, so you can also find some restaurants, sorry, a lot of restaurants in downtown city Chicago, for example. Like also, there's a lot of options that you can find in Chicago. Another thing about Chicago is the first season of the year. Chicago is one of the is like it's a really good place to see, like, like first season of the year, if you want to. For example, in Chicago we can see the winter. Chicago, and also we can see the summer, like the fall and the spring. Chicago is known for, for having really hard winters, really cold winters. And yeah, in Chicago in the winter it gets really cold. In the summer it gets hot. Yes, in comparison to the south of the, like of the United States, like Chicago has shorter summers, but the summers are hot, but shorter, at the same time. Because most people think that Chicago it's always cold, which is not always true. Like in summer it gets hot, but normally Chicago in general, like, like it gets cool and quite cool. Some yeah, in the winter it gets really cold. And then if you're not good like if you don't are not used, like used to the cold, like you have to, wear, like the amount of layers that you need, for example. Because as long as you wear like enough amount of layers in Chicago in the winter, so you'll be fine, like you won't have any problem in case that you are not get used to the cold. But you'll get used to the cold like throughout the time. You just, like you just have to, feel the cold more often. So that's what I'm talking about. And then that's it for today, guys. So now if you have any questions, just let me know here down below, and then subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I say, and then see you later. Bye, guys.